Pyrocynical is in a lot of controversy again, not as bad as his worst incident, but this time it's for dressing up as a woman. This brought, of course, a lot of his fans to celebrate, along with people like Finster saying this is going to happen more often, but it also brought out people viciously against him, saying that what he is doing is a sickness. Along with this, apparently it sparked up an ongoing feud between Parlo and Pyro that has been raging for the last few weeks. Welcome to the internet versus Pyrocynical playing dress up. It starts when Pyro tweets out these 4 images and captions it by saying, "I'm never doing this again." Omni replies, "I know what you are." Gert says, "Can you dress as Pack God?" Urban Tree replies with this image in the caption, "Gross." Finster replies to Pyro saying he'll never doing it again by saying, "That's what they all say." And Cripple Walrus replies, "Getting groomed by your fans for money isn't a flex, bro." And Samantha Shadowslayer replies, "He also wanted to pull a Keffels and sell hormones to kids, but the UK and a rare W blocked him from doing so." I Was Always Here replies to Pyro's original post by saying, "Bills can't be that high, dog." For Friend says, "What did I ever do to deserve to have this on my screen?" Spoopers replies to Pyro by saying, "Pyro, this is the 3rd time you said I'm never doing this again after you dressed as a woman." Spring replies to Pyro by saying, "Interesting opinion. Unfortunately, Genesis 1-1 through Revelation 22:21. Ricky Berwick replies to Pyro's post by saying, "Okay, yeah, I'm not even gonna, what is this? Seriously? Hell no." Evil Overlord Peppermint says, "Holy shit. So many fucking transphobic people in the comment section." Mountain Man quote tweets Pyro with this old post from 2024 where he said, "I know it's a joke, but this is like the 4th or 5th time he's doing this. I have a feeling that he's into it." And Disgusting Beast replies, "He has an embarrassment fetish. It's why he constantly jokes about his inflation fetish every chance he gets, even when it doesn't really make sense." And Greetings Earthlings replies, "His entire career is just one long humiliation fetish now. The only way he can stay relevant is reminding everyone about his most embarrassing fetishes and cross-dressing." Tar quote tweets Pyro with this gif in the caption, "The guy who's been watching Pyro since 2021 and can't admit the damn jokes aren't funny anymore." Based Guns quote tweets Pyro by saying, "This dude is out by the end of the decade." And Yakum replies, "Well, he already groomed a kid, so he's on his way to it." And Base Gun says, "Wait, you talking about the French girl or the kid from the Furry Fetish Discord?" A Nostalgic Man replies to Base Guns by saying, "Every single time someone makes such a joke, they end up doing it for real later." Punish Shithead replies to Base Guns by saying, "Leafy got fat, iDubbbz is a cuck, and Pyro is into fat furry." And Toast replies, "Who would have thought Keemstar would win in the end?" Calvano quote tweets Pyrocynical saying, "The replies," attaching an image from ERB, the line, "I am Adolf Hitler." Kudos quote tweets Pyro and says, "Broskies, fuck OF. Pyrocynical just gave us F material for a whole week. Is she the baddest in the game right now? And if you say no, name who is." And Bert replies, "Bro." Casey quote tweets Pyro and says, "Don't let the shit cross-dressing distract you from Pyrocynical being a P and a groomer." Saad second quote tweets Pyro with this image in the caption, "Who keeps R-ing YouTubers?" And the image says, "Broken R victim." Kaguya's Top Gal tweets out the image and captions it by saying, "Men see the first signs of hitting the wall and they become women." And Augie RFC replies, "Pyrocynical is a sick freak." And Ren says, "Not too Christian, right Augie?" And Augie replies, "Dressing like a freak? Don't think so." Sakura's Azran Arts tweets out this picture showing that Bo Black's reply to Pyrocynical saying he'd never do it again and said, "Sure," and captions it by saying, "Pyrocynical posted pictures of himself addressed as something vaguely resembling a woman, so of course a certain person had to chime in on the discourse." And Luke replies, "I love how no one can address Bo Blacks in any other way than screenshots, as he has blocked literally everyone on the scene." Willie says in our members only Discord, "Seemed like a bit last time, now it just seems like he's an AGP." Augie RFC also tweets out Finster's reply saying, "That's what they all say," and captions it by saying, "This is a sickness." Toby Turner replies by saying, "Oh, it's a guy." And Bloody Fatality replies, "Both of them are." Shamu replies to Augie by saying, "Another autistic Sonic fan bites the dust." Spondau replies to Augie by saying, "It's a groom or be groomed world, and Pyro is trying out both." Howling Mutant replies to Augie saying that it's a sickness by saying, "Then I'm down with the sickness." Just a Minx replies to Augie by saying, "Okay, and you got no issue with Bo Blacks?" And Nicholas Dury replies to her by saying, "About that." Cam replies to Minx by saying, "Bo Blacks is out of the house. Have you managed to crawl out of the liquor bottle yet?" And AJ replies with this image in the caption, "If I were Minx and read this." Confusing Opinion replies to Minx by saying, "Does he know?" Tomo Spud replies to Minx by saying, Boblax is retarded and gay. Pyro is confused and probably being manipulated. And Gravity responds, Pyro isn't confused. He's very confident in his gender. His audience keeps telling him to because he's done it in the past. Stop pearl clutching every time a guy puts on a wig. Sliggins replies to Augie by saying, his audience is grooming him to be something he's not. And Aiden replies, that's not how that works. This is a grown adult. And Katie says, you think adults can't be manipulated? Reddit lies quote tweets Augie and says, trying out is the Gen Z equivalent to actors making it big and then ODing on hair. Retard Takes replies, at least recovering from a drug addiction is less embarrassing. Gaylord replies, Pyro has been doing this for years. This might actually be his last time because he looks old with the filters in these pics. Daka Daka quote tweets Augie and says, you know the guy has a mega donor in the wings spending millions for this just like the other freak. Pure evil, top to bottom. Finboy Ideas quote tweets Augie and says, Finn continuously giving any normal male crossdresser a bad rep. I assure you, not all men doing this or even cross-playing as female characters isn't as degenerate as this AGP fetishist. Drama Alert also tweets out the Instagram post that Pyro made and captioned by saying, YouTuber Pyrocynical does drag. And Parlo replies, FYI to anyone confused, Pyrocynical is a P who S with a 16-year-old boy that they knew the age of at the age of 20 and sent them corn, which is illegal. They also dated a 14-year-old French girl at 18 and stated that they would be okay to engage with them assfully at 16. Bert replies, age unknown, no graphic content sent, equivalent of Gmod ERP lol. Dating French people is Keemstar, aka bald retards, fake plot point. None of this shit real. Niall's a normal dude lol. And Parlo replies, her name is Luann. Her old Twitter account was Dumaria67. Colossal is crazy attested she was real and Keemstar did an interview with her. The age gap between her and Niall was 4 years, 2 months. Keemstar botched her age because he was getting fed conflicting info at the time. And Bert replies, nothing illegal as far as I'm concerned. Scummy is debatable, but not illegal. That's how far justice goes. From your point, it's obsession. And Parlo says, he stated he would be okay with waiting for her to reach 16, the age of consent, before engaging with her S-fully. That is grooming, my guy. He is a P and a groomer. And Bert says, waiting to do something legally quite literally is the point. What are you getting at? I'll say it again, nothing illegal. Until you prove he breaks the law, I'm not gonna budge. And Parlo says, he sent corn to Ivory after learning he was 16. That is illegal. He is also a child groomer for waiting to engage S-fully with an underage girl. So what he did was predatory and illegal. Lamau. And Bert says, under UK law, neither of these two things are illegal. Lamau. Boss man, how big is your hate boner for this guy? Again, scummy is one thing, but it isn't illegal. Get it through your thick skull. And Parlo replies, Ivory was in Pennsylvania. Mate, I have files on top of files. He is cooked. And Bert replies, UK. Do you know what the UK is? Or are you going to arrest me for drinking at 16 here in Belgium because it's illegal in America? Graffin says in our members only Discord, Parlo is actually loony. And anyone familiar with the French girl story knows that it's much more complicated than he lays it out to be, as I don't believe they ever met nor talked or dated for longer than 2 weeks. If he wants to go after anyone, Ancient Reality / Mick is right there. Obviously downplaying it like Pyro did was strange, but by no means is he a P. So apparently this Parlo and Pyro feud is long-winded and complicated. Parlo has been talking about dropping a long Google document on Pyro for the last few weeks. To be honest, the point of this video wasn't really to delve into that, just to cover this little controversy. But if you want me to make a completely separate video going over the Parlo Pyro feud, let me know in the comments. I'll gladly cover it if there's interest in that. Shout out to our internet representatives, tier 3 members Kiko and Salsoud. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next episode.